Welcome to Mattis Financial and Geopolitical from the Frontier. Allow me to wish you a wonderful Christmas holiday. The years pass so quickly. Remember, it was just last Christmas as if it were yesterday. Political reflections, I keep coming back to this phrase: if you elect a clown, you should expect the circus. This photo, released by the Saudi press agency, shows Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on the right shaking hands with Salah Khashoggi, a son of Jamal Khashoggi, the journalist who was killed in the Saudi consulate in Turkey. Powerful photograph, just incredible when you think about the emotions that would have been going through that Jamal Khashoggi's son's mind. This is the news about James Mattis, his final protest against the president via the Atlantic. Read the last sentence. This photograph also is of President Trump. You've got Abe, you've got Merkel all surrounding him in kind of disbelief. AFP Getty images. So now the edge node graph looks like Erik Prince, Betsy DeVos, Brad Pascali, Jared Kushner, Mohammed bin Salman, Dana Rohrabacher, Julian Assange, Roger Stone, the Mercers, and Steve Bannon. The US military has been ordered to begin planning to withdraw about half the troops from Afghanistan, a US defense official with direct knowledge told Barbara Starr of CNN. So Syria and Afghanistan need to be seen together. If Trump positions Erik Prince's mercenary army as a replacement for US forces, the complete takeover of our government and selling it off for private gain will almost be complete. B.W. Jones. Erik Prince, of course, met with several characters in Seychelles. This is a photograph of the beach in Seychelles. Mr. Trump is triggering a reverse Nixon, says the Financial Times. The year's most startling meeting of minds has been the rise of an anti-China consensus in the US. It spans Donald Trump's White House, Congress, Republicans, Democrats, business, unions, globalists, and populists. America may be at war with itself on almost everything else, but it is uniting on fear of China. Standing up to Beijing is the sole issue on which Democrats are often to the right of Trump. They need us more than we need them, said Chuck Schumer. The coming year will put Mr. Schumer's claim to the test, even if Mr. Trump strikes a truce with Xi Jinping when they meet next month. Cross-border businesses are planning as though the larger trade war will continue. Former US cheerleaders of US-China integration, such as Hank Paulson, foresee an economic iron curtain. Others talk of a new Cold War. It is hard to disagree. 40 years of US-China convergence is starting to unravel. It is hard to overstate the strategic importance of this reversal. Since they normalized ties in 1979, the US has underwritten China's emergence onto the world stage, with one or two pauses, notably after the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre and tension over the Taiwan Strait in 1996. The US kept its faith in China's destiny as an increasingly open and decreasingly authoritarian partner. America put its faith in a win-win relationship, an informal G2 world. PRISM has now changed to win-lose. It is easy to be distracted by Trump's bluster. One moment he accuses China of raping America, the next he speaks enviously of Mr. Xi being president for life. But beneath the mood swings lies a consistent hawkishness. When Mr. Trump wavers, his critics pounce. He hinted he could release Meng Wanzhou last week in exchange for Chinese concessions. He was criticized for waiving sanctions earlier this year on ZTE. This is creating two effects. The first is economic disengagement. China's investment in the US is dropping off rapidly. China's technology strategy is thus shifting from foreign acquisition to import substitution. Trade hawks in Washington believe China is like Japan, efficient at making things that America invented. If they are wrong, they're only advancing the day China will emulate US innovation. countries are being forced into an unwelcome choice. In a win-lose world, you're either with America or you're with China. And that's what I was saying. It's become very binary now. Talking about Nixon and saying Mr. Trump is triggering a reverse Nixon. This year, Mr. Z said that China-Russia was the most important bilateral relationship in the world. He was exaggerating for effect. The most critical by far is between the US and China. Decades of convergence is going into reverse. It is happening at a speed that is taking even Americans by surprise. 9th of July, I wrote a piece, Tariff Wars, Who Blinks First? 15th of October, I said the Robert Lighthizer and Peter Navarro have operated with surgical precision and have introduced an anti-dragon clause in the USMCA. I also said then war is coming, I was using the incident with the USS Decatur as a harbinger. China denies any role in theft of Western commercial secrets, that's according to the FT. As I said, the incident with the USS Decatur, where a Chinese warship came within 45 yards of the Decatur in the South China Sea, is surely a precursor. And then in December, I was writing about the truce dinner in Hue, sirloin steaks, Catena Zapata, Nicholas Malbec, Hue Technologies, and one Zhu Meng. Dinner that ran over 60 minutes, and one where the dinner guests broke out into spontaneous applause thereafter. Then I saw this from Greg Degerian. That's because there was no deal cut with Z. The Buenos Aires dinner was essentially a 90-day punt through Western and Chinese New Years. Mattis was known as the Mad Dog and Warrior Monk, of course. Badra Kumar, who's taken quite an anti-US position. Ground reality is that Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Jordan have exited the Syrian conflict. Egypt has no stomach to get involved, and Turkey, of course, has turned hostile, he says. 84% of the world's children are in these 46 countries. 1 in 25 children are Nigerian, 1 in 8 are Chinese, 1 in 100 are Kenyan, red-cap man. Madagascar, both the adversaries are claiming victory. Change is coming tomorrow, and today you can say that Papa is elected, Ravalomanana told supporters on Wednesday night. Whatever happens, only one thing counts: we will win. However, his rival Rajulina said, I'm sure I'm going to win, but we'll wait for the official results. For Mark Ravalomanana, his business network cannot survive if he does not take power. For Rajulina, his personal history is sullied by the 2009 coup, so he must win to rescue his honor. Ravalomanana is a former milkman from a peasant family who went on to build a business empire, while Rajulina is a former party planner and successful entrepreneur with slick communication skills. Omar al-Bashir, of course, visited President Bashar al-Assad, and the Le Monde Afrique is calling him le poisson pilote, pilot fish.